This story contains strong language and depictions some may find upsetting. Day 26. Serendipity. Elliot's electric car glided near silently along Lincoln Avenue as he leaned this way and that, looking for a parking spot. The bright sunlight glinted off the back of an SUV that was wiggling forwards and backwards, so he slowed behind it, blinkers on. In that same moment, a sedan pulled out of a space just across on the other side of the street. Elliot almost changed course, but the thought of crossing 4 lanes when he had committed to waiting for the truck to leave. Besides, this space was going to be considerably bigger. It would when the truck left, but not for now. Elliot let out a sigh when he saw the SUV driver, in vest and baseball cap, stepping down from the cab onto the asphalt. He had just been tidying up. Better cross the street then, decided Elliot, as he put his car into drive, did a U-turn behind a car coming the other way, just in time to watch that car slide into the space the sedan had left. "Fuck!" spat Elliot into his steering wheel. He watched the driver get out. Even through his frustration, Elliot noticed how much the guy looked like him. Same jeans band tee combo, similar length of unruly curly hair. His glasses even reminded Elliot of the pair on his dash. The lucky Parker twirled his key on his finger as he made his way to the sidewalk, completely oblivious to Elliot's dead-eyed stare. 20 minutes later, and almost late, Elliot stood panting in his therapist's waiting room. He had to go all the way up to Pearson Park to find a spot, and the half-jog back had left him sweating. "Elliot Goldman?" he said to the receptionist.
"Mm-hmm,"
she said, without looking up.
"Take a seat."
He turned and stopped. The only other person waiting was his doppelganger, the spot thief, frowning into his phone as he scrolled. Elliot almost dared him to look up. Eventually, he sat facing the consultation room door and folded his arms. The receptionist came over holding a clipboard.
"I'm sorry, gentlemen, but Dr. Pascoe didn't come to work today. She's sick."
"Oh no," said Elliot. He liked Dr. Pascoe.
Anyway, the good news is we have 2 substitute therapists for this week, so you can both go in straight away. Mr. Lieberman," she looked to Elliot's twin, "you won't have to wait for him to finish."
She stuck a thumb in Elliot's direction. "Oh, sweet." Mr. Lieberman, the primo Parker, grinned at Elliot as if this was somehow good news for them both.
"You'll have to choose which one you each want, though."
She glanced at her clipboard.
"Dr. Belknap tells me she went to college without Dr. Pascoe, actually. They're good friends. She's very sweet. Or we have Dr. Finkel. He's older. I think he used to work here, actually, but something... I don't know. Anyway, he had to leave for some reason. Luckily, neither of you are women, because he doesn't seem to like us very much,"
she added under her breath. The choice seemed clear to Elliot.
"Well, seeing as you were here first," interrupted the receptionist, "I'd let you take first dibs, Mr. Lieberman."
"Oh, sweet," he said again. I'll take the lady, I guess." "But started Elliot.
"Very good," said the receptionist. "She's waiting in the consultation room. You can go right in."
She turned to Elliot.
"I had to put Dr. Finkel in the storage closet next to the bathroom. Sorry."
She wasn't sorry, but Elliot wasn't quite done. "What time was his appointment?" he asked, pointing at the door his doppelganger had just walked through. The receptionist looked at him as if he had asked for Mr. Lieberman's medical history.
"Excuse me?"
"What time was Mr.
Lieberman?"
"Yes, Mr. Lieberman. What time was his appointment? Was it after mine?"
"Mr. Lieberman arrived first this morning."
"I'm aware of that. He beat me to a parking spot, actually, but that doesn't matter. Only if my appointment was before his, if it was, then wouldn't it be right that I went first? That I chose first?" She was still frozen in the same look.
"Mr. Lieberman arrived first this morning?"
She turned with one smooth movement. Elliot snatched up his backpack and went out to find the closet. When he opened the door, Dr. Finkel was already looking at him over the top of his glasses. His white hair was tufty and his face unshaven. He had a look like he was about to burp. Hi?" tried Elliot. At first, the doctor didn't reply or even move, then suddenly shot out a hand towards the folding garden chair opposite him. Elliot stepped around a mop and bucket and lowered himself into the chair, looking up at the single light bulb with its hanging chain light switch. This had to be a joke, right? "What's wrong with you?" asked Dr. Finkel in a practiced melody. Elliot's eyes went wide. "Please don't take offense, by which I mean, of course, what brings you here today? There must be something." Elliot ran a hand through his hair, and the doctor made a note. Elliot put his hands down. "Well, I've been seeing Dr. Pascoe for a couple years." "For a couple of years," corrected Dr. Finkel, pointing up on the missing word. "Continue." Elliot took a deep breath. "What I'm trying to say is there must be a file or notes on me. We spoke about everything. I wouldn't know where to start." The doctor crossed his arms and tutted. "Let me explain something about therapy. The relationship between a therapist," he felt the need to gesture to himself, and then Elliot, "and client is very personal. The personage of the therapist is equal in unique value to that of their patient. Yes?" Elliot felt compelled to nod. "As such, what would be the point of my reading the notes of, dare I say, a less experienced practitioner and her relationship with a new client of mine?" Elliot wondered if the question was rhetorical. He didn't want to risk it, and shook his head. The doctor smiled the smile of a parent watching their child eat their vegetables. "And so, I ask, what brings you here today?" Elliot's mind fired. What could he say that would get him out of here the quickest? Hopefully Dr. Pascoe would be back next week, and if not, he could have a head cold. "And don't lie to me," added the doctor. The SUV, the missed parking spot. If he had been a minute earlier. He cursed himself for his chronic bad luck. There was a scream. Both men looked to the door behind Elliot's back. They scrambled to leave, Dr. Finkel almost climbing on top of Elliot to get out first. He followed the doctor along the short corridor back to the waiting room to find a movie scene. A young woman in a pantsuit was standing over the gurgling form of the receptionist, who had her hand to her throat, futilely trying to stem the blood running from her neck. Through the open doorway to the consultation room, a pair of legs and a pair of jeans that were just like Elliot's could be seen lying in a similar pool of blood. Elliot stared in horror at the woman, the scissors in her clenched fist, the mix of blood sprayed up her front, and somehow, most striking of all, how much she looked like Elliot's usual Dr. Pascoe. With a primal roar, Dr. Finkel ran at the woman, body-tackling her with such force that they were both carried across the reception desk, through the plate glass window, and out onto the street. Elliot dashed to the shattered window, almost slipping in the receptionist's blood, to see both doctors lying motionless on the crumpled roof of Mr. Lieberman's car, 3 stories below.